We are absolutely drowning in data. But how do we turn that massive ocean of raw facts into something actually valuable? That's the big question we're going to tackle in this explainer. Okay, let's jump right in. For decades, the answer to that question seemed pretty simple, right? But as you're about to see, the entire landscape has shifted under our feet. So, what is more valuable than data itself? Let's find out.
To really get where we're going, we've got to first understand where we've been. And for the longest time, the go-to model for this whole process was something called the DIKW Pyramid. It was this clean, logical way of looking at things.
So the pyramid's pretty straightforward. It's got 4 distinct levels. You start way down at the bottom with raw data. Then you climb up by refining it into information, you synthesize that into knowledge, and finally, right at the very top, you reach wisdom. Let's break that down with a super simple example. Okay, so it all starts here, with data. This is the super raw stuff, just symbols, signals, basic facts. For instance, a sensor reads, the room temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. By itself, that number doesn't tell you much of anything, does it? It's just a single point in time. But when you start adding a little bit of context, that's when your data starts to become information. So now we know the room is half a degree warmer than it was yesterday. See? Suddenly, it's way more useful. It starts answering basic questions like what changed and when. All right, climbing another rung up the ladder, we get to knowledge. This is where you bring in the brain power, the real analysis. By putting that temperature reading on a control chart, we can see, whoa, that's an outlier. Then, with a little digging, we figure out why. Oh, the AC unit was just serviced, and it's way hotter outside. That right there is actionable know-how. And then, at the very peak of the pyramid, you have wisdom. This is all about applying judgment and seeing the big picture. That one little temperature reading, when you add it to millions of others, helps us understand huge global climate trends. And that understanding can influence massive decisions, like supporting international climate accords. Seems pretty clean, pretty logical, right? Well, not so fast. For years now, academics and data scientists have been poking some pretty serious holes in this classic pyramid. Because, the model looks clean, but the real world, it's messy.
And get this, the criticism isn't gentle. Martin Fricke, a major critic of the model, did not mince words. He called the whole hierarchy unsound. And for a lot of critics, the biggest problem is with that final, very lofty step.
So what's the big problem? Well, it's that word wisdom. Critics argue it's just, it's too vague, right? It's more philosophy than science. And besides, think about it. Don't you need judgment right from the start? Just to decide what data to even collect. Judgment isn't just for the top. It's needed every step of the way. So people started suggesting an alternative. Enter the DIKW model. And you can see the key change right here. Wisdom? It's gone. And in its place is something much more concrete. And what's it replaced with? Evidence. Now, evidence is information you can actually use to test a hypothesis. It's something you can prove or disprove. It's rigorous, it's testable, and it takes us out of the realm of philosophy and puts us squarely in the world of data-driven decisions. This shift is absolutely crucial. And wow, this shift towards rigor, it couldn't have come at a better time, because what's happening in the modern world with data has totally, completely changed the game. It demands a whole new way of thinking. Just think about this for a second. Over 90% of all the data organizations have is unstructured. We're talking about things like documents, images, social media posts, call transcripts, and for years, all that incredible value was basically locked away, almost impossible to tap into. And this leads to a really critical point. The goalposts have completely moved. As McKinsey puts it, data by itself is kind of becoming a commodity. The real competitive advantage, the new currency, is intelligence, the ability to not just know something, but to actually act on it.
So, how do we unlock this new currency? The answer, as you've probably guessed, is generative AI. And this isn't just another tool in the toolbox, it is a total game changer for how we create value from data.
Look at this. What's so amazing here is that Gen AI isn't just affecting one little part of the process. No, it's touching the entire value chain. From creating synthetic data to train models, all the way to building conversational interfaces for users, Gen AI makes every single stage faster and better, turning all that raw data into actionable intelligence at a massive scale.
So let's make this real. What does this look like in practice? Well, here are 2 huge applications. First, generating hyper-personalized content, like an engine that creates unique recommendations from millions of different customers. And second,
making real-time automated decisions. I'm talking about AI agents that don't just suggest what to do, they can actually do it inside a live business process. And listen, this is not just some futuristic theory. Companies are already building huge businesses around this very idea: intelligence as a product.
A perfect example? Take a look at Walmart and its Scintilla platform. Now, Walmart is smart. They don't just sell off their raw shopper data. No, they use that data to power an AI platform that gives their suppliers incredibly deep, actionable insights into how customers behave. It helps them optimize literally everything.
And the results? I mean, they're absolutely mind-blowing. In 2024, Walmart announced, get this, a 173% year-on-year growth in customers for this platform, with a 100% renewal rate. That tells you everything you need to know about the power of turning data into true actionable intelligence.
Which brings us full circle. From that simple, old-school pyramid to these incredibly powerful AI agents, the mission has always been to create value from data. But today, that value is being created at a scale we've literally never seen before. And it leaves all of us with one final, critical question to chew on. Your data is generating intelligence, but for whom?